So what is indexation, guys? Indexation is when economic variables, we say, like wages or interest rates and all that, they uh, they change in line with inflation. Like when inflation go up or down, you will see uh, these variables to go up and down as well. A good example of this could be, let's say, my wage rate sort of is equal to your inflation rate. Inflation rate, let's say plus 5%. So every year I get my wage rate to be inflation plus 5%. Or for example, if somebody is offering a loan, is getting a loan from a party, your interest rate is going to be inflation rate plus, for example 2%. So आपको you get a loan for inflation rate plus 2%. So this way, what are you doing? You're trying to sort of reduce the the redistribution cost. Isn't that true? How are you reducing it? Because the lenders may not lose out. Somebody who's on fixed income, let's say a pensioner is on fixed income. So what you do is that you make his pension go up by inflation. So every year, if the inflation rate is, for example, uh, inflation rate is, for example, 5%, the pensioner's income will increase by 5% every year. So what is indexation therefore? This is when economic variables are increased in line with inflation. For example, firms can adjust their prices, normal interest rate can also be changed to maintain real interest rates, consumer may be able to distinguish between your general price level and relative price level, and the government can adjust tax thresholds and index linked payments, benefits and civil service payments in line with anticipated inflation. So a lot of things can change in line. For example, government can change their tax thresholds, also pensions and other benefits. All of this can be linked with inflation. With inflation, make sense? Did we get it? So what are the pros and cons of it? So there once the question came about, in a data response, in fact. So first evaluation of indexation is that it reduces redistribution costs. When you look at redistribution costs, it reduces it. But one would argue this other costs will still remain. You can't get rid of the shoe leather cost or menu cost and so on. Make sense? So the first big advantage is that although it reduces redistribution costs, but I'm saying evaluation, which means that other costs still remain. Make sense? Number one. Number two, guys, it reduces the pain of inflation. Why? Because redistribution is less, but it's not a cure for it. When you look at is it a policy measure, and the answer is not a policy measure. Why? Because it doesn't really get rid of inflation for us. It only reduces the pain for it. Make sense? So one would argue this, that it may not be sometimes desirable because it doesn't really solve the problem of getting rid of inflation. Last very important thing, guys, is this, that government may realize this, that it can reduce the pressure on government to tackle the problem of inflation. But very important point to remember is this, that indexation may hinder government attempts to reduce inflation because it automatically builds in further cost increases, such as wage increases, which reflect past changes in prices. Which means basically is this, that if I'm government, I'm trying to reduce inflation, will I be able to achieve that easily with indexation? And the answer is no. Why? Anyone? Why? What's your name? Sorry, my history student. Sorry, Anya. What's your why do you think government may find it very difficult with indexation to reduce inflation? Costs are increasing automatically. Everyone is factoring in it. Like Cedar, for example, fee next day will rise in inflation. Somebody's salaries are rising in inflation. Prices are rising. So how will you be able to make things to get under control? Make sense? Because everyone is factoring in inflation in their prices, in wages, in interest, in negotiations, and so on and so forth. That's why government may not like it from the perspective of controlling inflation. Make sense? Are we good? So that's the whole idea. Are we good? Any questions about this, guys? So we'll see an indexation question in a little later. I want to now talk about something important, which is basically called deflation. You know, deflation, remember, is negative rate of inflation. Okay, so when there is a persistent fall in average price level, we call that deflation. Okay, I want to show you two scenarios of deflation, and I want you guys to draw this as well because it's useful to see deflation happening. Sometimes deflation is desirable, sometimes it may not be desirable. So we're going to see both the scenarios. So guys, if this is AD naught and AS naught, this is my price level and GDP. I want to do the same thing here. So two scenarios. I'm going to do two scenarios to make you understand which one is good versus bad. So if this happens, guys, if aggregate supply curve shifts to the right, when does that happen? When the aggregate supply curve shifts to the right, when is that scenario going to happen? When the cost of production goes down, right? Yeah, oil becomes cheaper in the global market, or wage rate goes, or productivity goes up, and so on and so forth. This is good scenario. Why? Because A, the price level will fall. B, the GDP will increase. So this is not only expanding the economy, this is basically lower price level causing GDP to go up, but also unemployment, UE means unemployment goes down. So it's a win-win kind of a situation when your aggregate supply curve shifts to the right. But the bad scenario is the one that I'm going to draw here, where what if AD falls? What if AD goes down? If AD goes down, the price level falls and the GDP falls, right? So this is where the economy is going to slow down because your unemployment is going up as you know, and GDP is going down. Yeah, so this is kind of like a recession happening in the economy. The economy is slowing down, people are losing jobs, there is not enough demand out there, and as a result, this is kind of like an undesirable outcome, right? This is a desirable, let me write this desirable. This is desirable, which is good, and this is our undesirable outcome. Zaman, subsidies could be a good explanation, but normally this is the more like a macro level scenario. Maybe subsidies on oil may do something like that to happen. Yes, oil is a major product, so yes. Guys, any questions? Are we going to move on? I want to show you now this in terms of a discussion. So, sorry, still copying it. Are we going to move on? So, what guys, deflation is basically a persistent fall in average price level. If deflation comes about from the improvement in supply side, it may not be bad, uh, because of increased productivity and so on, right? However, if deflation is because of falling prices, is because of lack of demand, falling demand, then we say this is undesirable because it may have serious implication on our economy. What are the various problems of deflations? Number one is that consumer confidence will be low. If the prices are going down, guys, understand this. If the prices are going down, let's say I went and buy a car. Okay, and let's say I buy a car for, let's say, $10,000. And 2 days later, Adam comes to me and he's like, "Hey, I also bought this car." I was like, "Awesome! When did you buy it?" And he's like, "Today only." And I'll be like, "Okay, how much did you buy it for?" And he goes like $8,000. How would I feel about that? Disappointed, sad, unhappy. My consumer confidence will be low because I'll be like, should I buy? Is it really a good time to buy? Because when the prices are falling, consumer confidence will be lower. Consumers are concerned, about the future, and they know that if they don't buy today, they might be able to buy at a cheaper price tomorrow. Everyone start to delay their consumption pattern or consumption sort of expenditure, because they be like, don't buy today, tomorrow the price will be lower than today. And that lower confidence basically causes a slump in consumption. Remember, consumption is roughly 60% of the GDP. 60% of the GDP, roughly 50 to 60% of the GDP comes from consumption. If consumers suddenly feel not confident about, like consumption, and they want to delay this plan, this means C goes down. And when C goes down, how will firms react to it? Well, they may want to lower prices to attract people, but more importantly, investment will fall. Because why do you need to invest when you know that people are not buying? So, investment, a lack of consumer confidence will then feed into a lack of business confidence, and lower investment as businesses expect to make less profit or make more losses. So in other words, C went down, I went down, and both of these will cause to go down, which means further economy sliding into a recession. Make sense? Are we good? But prices will go up in the future. No, prices won't go up in the future. Prices are continuously falling. AD curve is shifting backward. Make sense? Unemployment will then go up with falling demand. We say this, and investment. We say businesses are likely to lay off workers. You'll see unemployment to go up, which will again cause AD to fall. So we are kind of in a negative spiral where things are just sliding downward because lack of demand is translated into lack of investment, is translated into higher unemployment, which will further exacerbate the situation, and there will be more people losing the job. So this will result in further fall in incomes and a reduction in demand, causing a deflationary spiral as the economy may go into a deep recession. Make sense? How can I save this economy from going into a deep recession? Yeah, maybe reduce interest rate, very good job, or maybe do what we call, what US is doing, which is what we call a stimulus package. Try to stimulate the economy. What do you call it? Why do you call it stimulus package? Stimulus package basically trying to make sure that the economy uh, gets out of this spiral of sorts, and kind of like start to, people, when they get money, they spend it. And you give it to the poor, who will most likely spend it rather than save it, which will most likely generate more employment and output, and therefore make that falling AD. You arrest the fall of that AD. Make sense? So you don't let that happen. What about borrowers, guys? Our borrowers will be happy or unhappy in this time? And the answer is borrowers are probably the party who will also now lose out because the rate of inflation is negative. So I want to show you this working. If the rate of inflation is like -5%. Okay, remember prices are falling. Uh, huh? So interest rate would be what? So let's say nominal interest rate was, you had to pay, nominal interest rate was, let's say, 10%, right? So if you are 100, you need to pay me 110. But if inflation rate is -5%, the real interest rate will be what? So I'm going to add inflation rate here will be minus 5%. So 10% minus 5% will be 15%. You get it? So I'm not really paying you 110. The purchasing power of 110 is 115. Do you guys get that? Does that make sense? So in other words, the borrower is if I'm a firm, I've taken a loan from, let's say, the bank. I'm now in my difficult time, rather than paying you less, I'm paying you more. So borrowers who have taken a loan suffers as a result of deflation because the value of their debt rises as a result of deflation. So they will lose out. And if profits are low, this will make it difficult for businesses to pay back their loans, and there may be bankruptcies that will take place. And that can be good bad news because this will further worsen business confidence, guys. Business confidence will further shatter when the people are basically ending up paying a higher price. Do you guys get that? Are we good? So borrowers will lose out in this case. Make sense? Are we good? Who are the people who gain, guys? Just to quickly look at people probably on fixed income will gain. The lenders will gain. Anyone else? When the price level goes down, X minus M can go up maybe. Exports become cheaper, imports become expensive, maybe exporter, and that could basically make the balance of payment. So there are sometimes, if the prices are going down, some parties like people on fixed income or lenders or net exports could benefit. However, guys, it's an important point to understand the depressing effect on the demand of deflation is the key reason why economists, when you ask them, choose between deflation versus low rate of inflation. What will you go for? Deflation versus, so that's why between deflation, which might have negative effect, low rate of inflation, almost less than 5%, is actually desirable. Any big example of any example of big bankruptcies? There was tons of examples of big bankruptcy. My friend was working in Lehman Brothers at a time, and I remember he was in New York. The funny story: he was in New York with me. He used to work in Japan, Lehman Brothers. So it was summer. I was doing an internship also in New York in a very social sort of sector kind of a place, and he was working in a investment bank. So he was showing me off, and then one day he called me and he's like, "Listen, dude, I'm here." And he was also here for two month kind of a training stint, while I was also for 2 months. We both were in New York enjoying the New York summer and all that. But funny thing was, like, he called me and he's like, "You know what, dude? I think my bank is going to close tomorrow." I was like, "What? What happened? What are you saying?" He's like, "The share price went down from bottom like $200 or $300 to like $20 in one single day or something like that." And next, actually Lehman Brothers that summer closed down. So I was like, this was probably the last trip they must have funded for him. But that's happened. That happens when like when demand is going down, the bankruptcies are really big. Lehman Brothers had a different story, of course, because at that time in 2009, when I was there was a whole mortgage crisis that was taking place. Um, um, subprime mortgages, where people were selling a portfolio of mortgages to another bank, which was selling it to another bank, which was selling it to another bank, and nobody knew how good that quality of mortgages or house loans were. So that's the example of, and that actually started a recession. A long recession started in the whole world because all these developed countries' banks are interlinked with each other. Lehman was in Japan, Lehman was in UK and Europe, as well as in US. So once you close down operations, and Lehman's portfolio, Lehman went down not because of Lehman alone, because of other people, other banks also. I think it was Wells and Fargo and all of those other. Goldman Sachs survived. Yeah, a lot of these, but they survived. They survived closely, but they survived. A lot of these banks were actually were too big to fail, and U.S. government actually bailed a lot of a lot of money went to them, which was also a cause of concern by a lot more people, because they were like, these banks were irresponsible and yet you're saving them, and so on. But I guess the whole idea is that you can't let big firms to close down, because that has a what we call ripple effect that can happen from one person to another, to one organization to another. Anyways, so that's the story. So that's why, guys, when it comes to inflation, everyone says this, that if you have a 1 to 2% low inflation, then this means the cost of inflation is low, and at the same time, this kind of inflation means a bit of economic growth is happening. So like. When you look at deflation, deflation could be undesirable, and the reason is this, that the falling demand isn't really good for jobs creation, for GDP, and so on. Make sense? I want to show you an exam question. We're done with this chapter, so um, let's take a few minutes to look at exam questions of deflation as well. That's a good one. Explain how the rate of deflation is measured. It's just like how the rate of deflation means how is inflation measured. It's the same thing, right? Through CPI, and we talk about and the impact of a period of deflation on the economy. So when deflation happens, what happens? Lower consumer confidence, lower business confidence, lower investment, cost to borrowers go up, economy slows down, GDP goes down, unemployment goes up. So that scenario is what you talk about. Make sense? Are you good with the first one? So how the rate of deflation is measured, it's all about CPI. Talk about how inflation is measured the same way. Diagram of falling AD is the one that you make. Make sense? Let me look at another one. I guess that's about it. Yeah, there's only one in this sheet for some reason. Make sense, guys? So you could have a question like this coming in the exam. Let me find another one. Let me quickly look at another worksheet of us. Anyways, can't find it. I guess that's about it, guys. Raza, inflation is finished. Can you start taking inflation tutorials then? Yeah. So Raza is going to start offering this tutorial for next week. We're starting tutorials, right? Yeah. Okay, guys. Bye bye. See you.